The United States is facing a lot of problems from both within and without. Whether it's climate change, declining infrastructure, or mass shootings, there are many reasons why some believe that America is falling behind. The U.S. Census Bureau projects that by 2030, the United States will have around 400 million people living within its borders. According to the International Monetary Fund, Canada's economy is the 15th largest in the world with a GDP of around $1.8 trillion. According to the UN Human Development Index, Canada is ranked first in the Americas and second in the world, right behind Norway. First and foremost, Canada is a much safer country than the U.S. For example, as more and more people move to Canada, housing prices are going to increase. This could price out some of the very people who have made Canada's economy so strong in recent years. Additionally, as Canada becomes a richer country, it could become a target for other nations. Some of the wealthier nations in the world, such as France, Germany, and Japan, have all been targets of aggression from larger, more powerful nations. If Canada ever becomes a target of a foreign power, it would likely get swept away in the conflict. That's why it's so important for Canada to invest in its defense capabilities. Luckily, Canada has been doing this for some time now, and is investing heavily in new technologies that will allow it to defend itself against any potential threats. According to data from the Institute for Economics and Peace, Canada is ranked as the second safest country in the world, while the U.S. is ranked 35th. Its population will surpass that of the U.S. by 2030. Its economy is already larger than that of the U.S. when measured per capita. Until next time, I bid you farewell, and will continue to grow faster than the U.S. economy due to lower taxes and a more educated workforce. It is a safer, more environmentally friendly, and happier country than the U.S. and will continue to attract highly skilled immigrants from all over the world. These are just some of the reasons why Canada will become the more powerful country in just a few short years. Of course, there are always risks associated with being a wealthy, highly developed nation. But Canada is taking steps to ensure that it will be able to defend itself against any potential threats. So, don't count out the Great White North. In just a few short years, it will become one of the most powerful nations on Earth. This means that, on average, Canadians are much less likely to be killed in a violent crime than Americans. As more and more people around the world become aware of just how dangerous the United States is, they're going to choose to live and work in Canada instead. Secondly, Canada is a much more environmentally friendly country than the U.S. According to data from the World Bank, Canada is ranked 11th in the world when it comes to carbon dioxide emissions per capita, while the U.S. is ranked 16th. This means that on average, Canadians produce much fewer greenhouse gases than Americans. As the world continues to become more concerned about climate change, this is going to be a major selling point for Canada. People from all over the world are going to want to move to a country that is taking steps to protect the environment. Finally, Canada is simply a more attractive country than the U.S. According to a survey conducted by the UN World Happiness Report, Canada is ranked second in the world when it comes to happiness, while the U.S. is ranked 19th. This means that on average, Canadians are much happier with their lives than Americans. And as more and more people around the world learn about just how happy Canadians are, they're going to want to move to Canada instead of the U.S. The United States, on the other hand, is ranked 13th in the world. This means that on average, Canadians enjoy a higher quality of life than Americans when it comes to things like healthcare, education, and standard of living. Canada ranks first in the Americas and second in the world, while the U.S. ranks 32nd in the world. When it comes to education, Canada ranks first in the Americas and fourth in the world, while the U.S. ranks 38th in the world. When it comes to healthcare, Canada ranks first in the Americas and fifth in the world, while the U.S. ranks 29th in the world. Overall, this means that Canadians live longer, healthier lives than Americans on average and have access to better education and healthcare. This is one of the main reasons why so many young, wealthy entrepreneurs are choosing to move to Canada these days. They want to enjoy a higher quality of life for themselves and their families. And as more and more of these highly skilled individuals choose to live and work in Canada, the country's economy will continue to grow faster than the U.S. economy. The U.S. economy, on the other hand, is the largest in the world with a GDP of over $20 trillion. So clearly, the U.S. economy is much larger than Canada's. However, the U.S. economy is also much larger than the U.S. population, whereas Canada's economy is much smaller than its population. When you take this into account, it becomes clear that the average Canadian earns more money than the average American. In fact, according to data from the World Bank, the average Canadian earns around $53,000 per year, while the average American earns just $47,000 per year. This difference in income may seem small, but it adds up over time and will likely result in Canada becoming a richer country than the U.S. by mid-century. One of the main reasons why Canada's economy is stronger than the U.S. economy is because of its lower taxes. According to data from the OECD, Canadians pay around 33% of their income in taxes, while Americans pay around 39%. This difference in tax rates may seem small, but it makes a big difference when you're trying to attract businesses and high-income earners. In recent years, Canada has been successful in attracting many young, wealthy entrepreneurs from all over the world. And as these entrepreneurs continue to pour into Canada, the country's economy will continue to grow faster than the U.S. economy. While the current population of Canada is about 38 million, it's estimated that by 2027 it will be closer to 45 million. By 2030, Canada is expected to have 50 million people living within its borders. So while the U.S. will continue to be one of the most populous nations on Earth, its growth rate is slowing down while Canada's is increasing. Part of the reason for this is that Canadians are having more children than Americans. On average, each Canadian woman gives birth to 1.6 children during her lifetime compared to only 1.7 children born to the average American woman. This difference in birth rates may seem small, but it adds up over time and will likely result in Canada's population surpassing that of the U.S. by mid-century. And with China, Russia, and North Korea testing ballistic missiles, some fear that the world's most powerful country is losing its edge. But what if another nation surpasses the U.S. before the end of the decade? You may be thinking about a close ally like the UK or a traditional rival like Russia or China. But no, we're talking about a nation that has never even possessed a military, Canada. That's right. In just 5 years, the Great White North could overtake the U.S. in global power and influence. So why will this happen? And how can a nation that doesn't even have an army do so? Let us take a look at the factors that are causing this shift in power and the ways that Canada is preparing for its new role on the world stage. One of the main reasons why Canada will overtake the U.S. by 2027 is because of population growth. Another reason why Canada will overtake the U.S. is because of its strong economy. Another factor that will contribute to Canada overtaking the U.S. by 2027 is its quality of life. In addition to these three main factors, there are a number of other reasons why Canada will overtake the U.S. by 2027, of course. There are also some risks that come along with all this growth. So in conclusion, yes, Canada will overtake the U.S. in 5 years. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button below and subscribe if you haven't already.